Hello everyone, I'm here today to do a little bit of a different video. So if you have seen my vlogs from Invisible Cities from last year, you might know that I actually really enjoy cooking. It's one of my other things that I enjoy. And I have been enjoying cooking lately, so I thought, why not show you my collection of cooking books that I have. Might be a fun thing to do. I think other people that watch this channel also enjoy cooking, so maybe you can find some new favorites. So the first book I have here is Fresh India by Mera Soda. And this is basically a book of Indian food. It's vegetarian. I am vegan, so I cannot cook all of the recipes here, but most of them can be adapted. I mean, there's only the ones with eggs, like this one, that is a little bit impossible for me to make. But other than that, I really like this book. Actually, when in 2020, when all the quarantine things started, I made a challenge for myself to cook through this book, basically, and it has a lot of recipes. I didn't manage, and there's also some recipes that were not right for the season or whatever, but I would say I have cooked about 70% of the recipes in this book, and I really enjoy it. Also, it has photos for almost every recipe in the book, not quite every recipe, but most of them, and it also has like information pages about, for example, this one is about pulses. There's also about rice and things like that. So I really enjoyed this book, and I think if you're vegetarian or vegan, this is a very good thing to have in your arsenal, because it does look very exotic, but the recipes are not that difficult. The next book I have is Afro Vegan, and this one was given to me in my graduation, when I graduated, by my friends, and this one is a little bit difficult to talk about because it's a lot of African American food that I'm not familiar with at all. So it has a lot of corn and a lot of okra and things like that, which I don't feel as comfortable cooking, but I have tried a few recipes of this and I also like them. It's just not my go-to cookbook. One cool thing that it has, though, it's for every recipe, if you can see here, it gives you a soundtrack and sometimes a book as well to like connect with that recipe more, which I think is really, really good. It's really fancy. Also, another thing that I'm like, it's not my favorite, is that there are a lot of pages without photos, which in my opinion every cookbook should have photos for every recipe, because it just makes it a lot more appealing. But other than that, I have gotten some good recipes from this, and I would say if you're vegan or you are interested in vegan recipes and you are gluten-free or trying to be gluten-free, this is a very good book, because it has, as I said, a lot of corn-based recipes. So there are a lot of things that don't have any pasta, bread, flour in it, that can be either they are gluten-free or they can be easily made gluten-free. So that's a good tip for this book. I do have a friend that is gluten-free, so whenever she comes around, I can always pull this one up and cook something from this. Then the next one I have is Vegan East, and this one, the good thing about this one is this one does have a recipe and a photo for every recipe. That's like all the pages, which is great. And at the beginning, a friend gave me this. For I think my birthday, and at first I was not very sure, because I don't tend to cook a lot of like Eastern Asian food. It's more Indian or European food, but I've tried quite a few recipes from here and they are really good. I particularly like, let me see if I find it, this This is a peanut sauce, and in the Netherlands it's very common to have peanut sauce with a lot of things, including your fries and stuff, because of the Indonesian influence, and I make that all the time. But yeah, there are quite a lot of very good recipes. There are some of them that still I have not made because some of the ingredients are a little bit weird. But yeah, this one it's one that unexpectedly I'm really enjoying. The next one I have is a little bit unusual in the format, and that's probably why I haven't used it as much, and it's Vegan for Friends. And the reason that this is a little bit different is because instead of having like all the other ones have sections like starters and main courses, or based on certain ingredients, or drinks, desserts, that kind of thing, this one is kind of organized in menus. So for example, it has like I'm cooking for my grandmother, and then it has a bunch of recipes that he would cook for that person or that group of friends, and as it has a lot of photos but not for every single recipe. So for example, this is like a bunch of snacks, and then it has a cake, and then the next one is cooking with my friends, party food, and it has a bunch of other recipes that are good for maybe for a party, and then it has at the end it tends to have like a cake. So it's kind of like menus or things like that, which is I haven't found. I think it's a fun idea, but I haven't found it as useful as it could have been. And I also find that somehow there's every chef has their set of ingredients that they use over and over again. Like for example, this one uses rapeseed oil in all of the recipes, where other books use coconut oil, and then some people use soya sauce or mirin or whatever for certain acidity flavors or salty flavors instead of like from all the options. And this book does use some of those ingredients like soya and mirin. It uses a lot, and those are not things that I normally have in store, so somehow I find myself cooking less from this. However, it does have a recipe for sushi that I have used like a million times, and it explains how to roll it and everything. So yeah, I mean, I have cooked some of the things here and I have enjoyed. I will say this one is one of the milder ones in terms of how impressive the things are, but I have cooked some things here and I've enjoyed some of the things here a lot. So yeah, maybe I should try to make an effort to cook more from that. And the last two that I have here they have kind of a similar feeling to each other. They're kind of more international Western focused recipes, and they are ingredients that I can find more easily, I will say. So those are these two. So this one is Vegan Goodness, and I mean, this one has a weird square format, but and it has very nice photos. It doesn't have photos for everything, and also it does this thing that I don't love, that has like a page of several things, and then it has like the numbers for where each thing in the book is. But yeah, I have found some really good things here as well. Let me check if I can find some of them. There is like a pizza recipe that I have made a few times and I really enjoy. Yeah, this one, pom pom pizza. So things like that I have found, but again, for some reason I don't find myself gravitating towards this. I think this one is one of those books that has a lot of basic flavors, and then it's encourages you to mix recipes. So for example, it will use it has like a recipe of pumpkin in the oven, and then it has another recipe of lasagna, and it's like, okay, make this other whole recipe first, and then you can use that pumpkin to do the lasagna recipe, which I find that is not as handy for me, but I have done that sometimes and it works. But yeah, this one is also not my favorite, but the things I have cooked from this are really good, so I have some good things going on. And the last one that I have, for at least for adults, it's Vegan 100% by Gus Oakley, which is a YouTuber actually, and this one is the one that I have been gravitating towards the most recently, I think, because the ingredients that it uses are things that are very easy for me to have and very that I'm very familiar with. So it's not, except from a few things, it's not very intimidating to cook with them. And again, this one does not have photos for every single recipe, but it does have sometimes like these pages where it has several photos of several things, which again I don't love, but it is what it is. But it does have some very good recipes, and it also, this one has a feeling of decadent food. Sometimes with vegan books it tries to be super clean and super healthy, and this one has a lot of fried stuff and a lot of like burgers. Ooh. Like burgers and hot dogs and yeah, things like that. It also has at the beginning it has a whole section about how to make vegan milks, vegan butter, vegan cheeses, which I found very useful. I make vegan mayonnaise from that all the time. It's super easy, it takes 20 seconds, and you just need a bit of soy milk, a little bit of lemon, and a little bit of oil. So yeah, it's very nice. One thing I will say for all of this, I don't tend to make the desserts because for some reason many vegan desserts are chocolate based, like something like this, and I am one of those weird people that don't like chocolate, so yeah, I don't make a lot of those recipes. The last one I have, it's not exactly a cookbook, but it's the plant-based baby and toddler, and as you can imagine, this is a lot of baby foods. It also has a huge section about how to feed your baby, what they need and stuff. And Alex is not vegan. I'm not trying to make her vegan. It's just I don't have meat or milk or whatever at home because I don't eat it and I don't use it, so I just don't buy it specially for her. I just don't cook it specially for her. But I'm not trying to impose her being vegan when she's with her father or with my parents or in daycare and they give her something that is not vegan. That's fine by me. It's just at home I cook vegan, and I'm not just going to change that for her. And I also have this like notebook thing where I copy paste recipes. Most of them are from there is a supermarket here called Eco Plaza that has a magazine that they have, like, I think 4 times a year, and they have a lot of recipes, and when I like one recipe from there I will cut it and paste it here. So I do have a lot of recipes here, and I have made a lot of them. I also have some other recipes that I just found in the internet or some friends share with me or stuff. So this is like for kind of my own recipes, and I do cook. I have a few recipes here that I cook all the time, and then the other ones are kind of forgotten. Yeah, those are the books. Cookbooks are very heavy. I was thinking I go through these there's phases in which I feel like I want to cook from a recipe, from a cookbook sometimes, so that it's a little bit more fancy. It doesn't necessarily always take a lot of time. I feel like I and maybe a lot of other people have the idea that if you cook from a recipe, it's like more complicated and it takes more time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, I have found. So sometimes I just like to cook from my cookbooks just for fun, so that I have a little bit more variety and fun with what I eat and what I cook. So I was thinking, if you want me to review one of these in particular, or like make a few recipes from them that I have not made before, I was thinking like the way that I did with this a couple of years ago, that I wanted to cook more or less everything here. I could do that with some of the other ones as well. I think I have cooked maybe like 30 to 40% of this, and less of the other ones, but it will be fun to just like cook from one of these books a bunch of recipes and maybe give a review, or I don't know, make a video about it. So if you would like that, let me know, because I can do that. And if you're not interested in cooking at all, I'm sorry, you could skip this video. But yeah, that's all for me today. Let me know what you think, if you also like cooking, if any of these sounds appealing to you and you want to know more about them. And until next video, bye!